$7-8 average, and I'd like to be somewhere around 15 or 20. So I'm not too far off. I can price my items a little bit higher. Hello, welcome to the Part-Time Hustle, where we talk about saving money, making money, and making that money grow for you. If that sounds interesting, stick around. I do those things personally through my 9-to-5 job, a 401k attached to that, a couple of other brokerage accounts that my wife and I put money into and manage on our own, a little bit of freelance writing, and I recently have started buying and selling things at thrift stores, garage sales, selling them on eBay and or Facebook Marketplace, anywhere else I can find buyers for the items. I wanted to talk this week about what's hot and what's not, what is selling for me and what's not. Since I'm very new at this, the what's hot portion will be all 5 or 6 items that have sold, and the what's not, I'll talk about a few things that I have listed that just don't seem to be getting much traction and tell you why I think that is. Before we get into that though, I would like to talk to you a little bit about something I heard on a podcast. I was listening to Nick Loper on the Side Hustle Show. If you're not familiar with that, you should check it out. I'll put a link to it in the description below. He was interviewing a fellow podcaster, an author, a social media guy who specializes in entrepreneurship, motivation, and that kind of thing. This guy's name was John Lee Dumas. John gave an anecdote. He was a student athlete. I believe it was his senior year. He injured his knee and was not able to complete his high school basketball season. So he looked around to see what other sports he could compete in with an injured knee. He liked the competition, the culture, everything about being involved in sports, but obviously with a bum knee, you're limited. So he decided to join the swim team. I'm assuming he grew up like I did, where recreational swimming was kind of a thing, took swim lessons when he was a kid. He was good enough at the freestyle stroke to just join the team and get in and start competing. He was not, however, good enough to do very well. I believe he said in his first race that he was about 40 or 50% slower than the rest of the field. So it's one of those races, it's a sprint, and you see the first guy finish, and then the second guy, and third, fourth, fifth. And wait, wasn't there 6 guys in this race? And you look down at the other end of the pool, and here comes John plodding down towards the finish line, and he finished, like I said, 40 or 50% slower than the rest of the field. To his credit, he did not quit. He continued on the swim team. He went from losing that first race to winning the races by the end of the season. His team went on to win the championship, and he was a key part of the relay where they do the freestyle, the breaststroke, the backstroke, and the butterfly stroke. And he did the freestyle portion of that and was instrumental in his team winning the championship. I had a couple interesting takeaways, though, from the anecdote as he told it. After he lost that first race, he began working to get better, obviously, and I think it's natural to think, well, John, you need to go work harder at swimming faster. That needs to be your focus. But instead, he worked on the start, getting the right balance, the right posture, listening for the starting signal, getting the timing right. You've seen swim meets where they dive in the water and then they stay under the water. They do the little dolphin swim before they break the surface. He really worked on perfecting that, figuring out what the timing was right for him, how long to stay under the water. He worked on these little pieces. And I honestly think, as a parent, if that was my child, I would be proud of them, first of all, for not quitting. But if I took them to practice on their own the next week and they were just working on their start, I would be really tempted to say, look, don't you need to just work on swimming faster first? The start is only a fraction of a percentage of the entire race. But John realized that these were crucial skills that really brought it all together. That's really what allowed him to go from last place to first place. And I was thinking about that with reselling. I think it's easy to have the impression that in order to get better, maybe you hit a ceiling where you're selling some items, you're making a little money, and you're having a hard time taking that next step, that I need to work harder to find the next home run. I need to, get those hot bolos. I need to, really scour the thrift stores. That's where it's at. More items, better items. And there's no doubt that that's a key element to it. But I also believe that adding some efficiency to your sourcing, if you're going to 3 or 4 sourcing sites. What's the most efficient route to get from point A to point B to point C and back to your home? How efficiently can you get in and out of the store? If you can cut 5% of your fuel cost and 15% of your time there, that's going to pay dividends later. How is your shipping process? Do you have a designated shipping space? If you don't, do you have a process where you get all of your shipping supplies together at one time, all the items that need to be shipped, so that you can work at one station and get all of your shipping done? Or do you go get one item and one box and package that and then go get the label and then go... To me, having a process, or better yet, a designated shipping station, is far superior to just willy-nilly grabbing things. As I grow my business, that's where I'm putting my focus right now. Stick around and I'll tell you if it pays off. Now, let's talk about what's hot and what's not. If the lighting looks a little different, I'm recording this second half of the video a few hours later. I recorded it once already, and I did a lot of, I sold this, I think the eBay fees were this, and maybe shipping was that, so I made about this. I have appreciated in the YouTubers that I watch, the ones that give real numbers, and they're not just guessing. So I've gone back and I've updated my spreadsheet, and I'll tell you what each item cost me if I bought it. Most of these items are out of my own inventory, but I'll tell you the cost of the item, the cost of eBay fees, the cost of shipping, and what I made on each item. And I'm going to tell you how long they were listed. I'm not pricing my things high enough, I can tell you that. If I'm looking away, I'm looking at my computer. The first item I sold was a pair of men's coveralls. They were barely used. They were provided for a short period of time when I was working down in Brazil. I wore them a few times and then put them in the closet, and so I dug those out and I sold them. They were a pretty big size, which I think would sell pretty good. I listed them on the 2nd of September, sold them on the 8th. I listed them for $20, sold at full price. eBay fees were $3.04. Shipping was $13.75. I only made $3.21 on those. Now, I have found another pair just like them that is new without tags. You can look at them until they've never been worn. So I will list those. I will list them higher, ship them cheaper, and I will make more money off the next pair, and I'm looking forward to getting those listed. The next item that sold was a Nintendo Wii, sort of a package. I found the Nintendo in our closet. It had a power cord to it, so I could plug it in and make sure it worked. It did not have any games. I didn't hook it up to the TV. I listed it on September 6th, and it sold on September 6th. It sold inside of an hour, maybe 15 minutes. I can't remember exactly, but it sold inside of an hour. I was basing my price on the console, and what I was seeing sold comps for consoles that were untested, and I had some extras that went with it. I had a couple of controllers. One was broken. I clearly disclosed that, showed pictures, but I had 4 of the tennis racket paddles and a steering wheel. And I'm thinking to another reseller, those odds and ends probably had a little more value than I anticipated, because that's who bought it, was another reseller. And I don't know if they'll put it together, get some games, test it, sell it as is, if they'll part it out. But anyway, that sold really quick. I asked $45. I took $40 as an offer. eBay fees were $5.32 and shipping was $7.40. So I made $27.18 on that. I don't feel bad about it, but in hindsight, I wish I'd asked a little bit more for it. The next... bug just landed on my head. The next item that I sold was a Nintendo Gamepad power cable, and I listed that for $10, accepted $8 as an offer, paid $1.39 in eBay fees and $3.50 in shipping. I made $3.12 on that. The next item I sold was a pair of Dockers straight fit men's pants. I listed those for $21. I listed them on $9.20. They sold on $9.24. Again, from what I'm watching other eBayers and YouTubers talk about sell-through rate and the time things are listed before they sell, I'm not listing my items at high enough. They sold in just 4 days for full asking price. eBay fees were $3.12. Shipping was $7.40. I made $10.50 off that. The next item I sold was the first item that I actually purchased. It was a Pierre Hawaiian shirt, and in the last video, you'll remember I was kicking myself for buying that because I regret buying it now, because it's not probably the best time of year to be selling a Hawaiian shirt. And there was tons of other shirts I could have bought. And I knew when I went into the store that it was going into fall and that I should be looking for long sleeves or heavier materials. My wife said, oh, don't worry, you might be surprised. Maybe someone's going on a cruise. Maybe someone lives in Florida and they wear them all the time. So that sold. I listed it on the 21st and it sold on the 28th. So that sold fairly quickly. I sold it for $15. I paid $5.60 for it. eBay cost for $2.34 and shipping was $4.04. I made $3 on that. Should have asked for more money. And the last item that I sold was a pair of men's Levi's. They came from my own inventory, so I did not have any cost into them, well, except that I of course bought them at some point. They're several sizes too small. I wouldn't be able to wear them for many years, so listed those, sold them again in about 4 or 5 days. I sold them for $18. eBay cost was $2.56. Shipping was $7.40. I made $8.04 on those. You'll notice I've said shipping cost was with every item. For now, for simplicity's sake, I am just including shipping with my items, free shipping, so I pay it. I take it out of the cost. It feels like it's simpler at this point. So grand total of $55 for 6 items. So $7-8 average, and I'd like to be somewhere around 15 or 20. So I'm not too far off. I can price my items a little bit higher. I am trying to get feedback. I don't know if anybody else has tried this, but I've got this little card right here. It says part-time hustle on it, and it says, thank you for your purchase. If the item arrived on time, the condition is described, please consider leaving me positive feedback. So I put one of these in with each item that I ship. We'll see if it makes a difference. Now, what's not selling? Initially, I looked around the house, just what do I have that I'm not using? And I've been in a decluttering mode for quite a while anyway, so I had identified things that either needed to go to the thrift store, get thrown away, get sold, something. I had a bunch of men's ties. So I listed those. I listed them cheap in relation to what other ties are listed for, but I just don't think the demand is there. I'll leave them listed for a little while longer. I know I need to learn to be more patient, but at some point I may delist them and bundle them together and try and sell them in groups of 2 or 3. By combining the shipping, I can actually sell each tie for less. Maybe if people don't want to buy 1 tie, they don't want to buy 2 or 3. I don't know, but I'll give that one more stab. The other thing that I'm not selling is my wife had some women's clothes that she wasn't using anymore, and she gave them to me to sell, and I have a feeling they're not getting any traffic because I didn't do a good job of listing them. I really don't know how to describe the sizes, the styles. There's so many fields on eBay for descriptive wording, and I don't know the right stuff, and I attempted to do this without my wife's help. Should know better than that. So sometime in the next few days, I will probably get her up in my office and have her sit down with me, and we'll go through those listings and see if we can improve the listings. Anyway, that's what I've sold. That's what I'm having trouble selling. I still have 16 items listed, and I've got some more ready to list, and I'll keep plugging away. So the goal is eventually to have a couple hundred items listed and learn to be a little more patient. My editor of these videos tells me that I have to learn how to do this. Please consider liking and subscribing if you found any value in this video or any entertainment or just would like to support the channel. I'll sign off with this. Work hard, work smart, and I'm sure success will follow. We'll see you in the next video.